Hi, and welcome to the first of many Ampd on the Road videos. My name is Tom Carter, Business Development Manager right here in the UK. These videos are all about visiting the site teams and finding out what their experiences have been like using the Ampd Enertainer, and obviously showcasing some of the savings that's been made. Let's kick off with Tier 1 contractor Bowmer Kirkland, where their first deployment of an Ampd Enertainer was at a site in Stoke-on-Trent back in February 2023. I caught up with Steven Parsonage, Senior Site Manager, to see what made him look at battery technology.
Due to the challenges here at the goods yard, we've got almost 200-year-old basement under 2/3 of the site. So we've got 2 tower cranes going up, one being the other side of the basement. So to get fuel over to the generator and flywheel over there was a no-go. We couldn't track that sort of weight over that volts, as we call it. So we looked at lots of different ways, running cables through the jobs, which obviously all of us try to avoid for obvious reasons, etc. And then we just kept coming back to the battery. So we decided to go with the battery to avoid that really, and it's worked really well.
This unit was rented through Select Plant Hire and was connected to the main grid, only requiring 28 amps throughout the whole duration of the project, while powering the equivalent of 1,000 kVA of tower cranes. We asked Steve what it was like working with the Enertainer.
Absolutely fine, superb. It's a neat, tidy, contained shipping container. It's clean, it sits on the job nice. No CO2 obviously with it at all, which was great. And incredibly quiet, so no problems with any sort of noisy generators or anything else around the job. So yeah, good bit of kit. There was one particular time where we had water enter our LV room that fed the battery, which basically knocked the electrics out for the site. However, one great thing was we could continue working with the tower cranes, in which it was feeding, because obviously the battery was there to deal with that. So whilst it was being fixed, we continued to be able to work externally. We were on a concrete frame, so that was the most important part of the electric we needed whilst it was being repaired.
My final question for Steve was, how did he find the transition between generator to battery technology?
There really wasn't one. It was quite unique really, and easy in the sense of where very rarely nowadays you have the luxury of having a permanent power feed on your site, on your project early doors. It was pretty much that. We plugged our tower cranes into a power source and away they went. And no fuel deliveries, no generator services that obviously interrupt your working weeks, months, etc. And it was reliable, which was the only question I raised when we were considering it. And I can honestly say we had no issues with it for the whole duration of the job.
Now I've explored some of the benefits of using the Ampd products, let's look into the CO2 savings. One Enertainer M removed the equivalent of 1,000 kVA of generator requirement. This prevented 461 tonnes of CO2 throughout the project. Now 461 tonnes sounds like a lot, but how do you quantify that? How do you put it into real world numbers? I like to use commutes. 461 tonnes is the equivalent of 200,426 commutes into Stoke-on-Trent. I'm sure you'll agree, these are fantastic savings. And this is not just the one project, it's happening time and time again, and hopefully going to showcase a lot more of that in the next coming months. If you think you've got a project where the Ampd Enertainer could benefit your site, please get in touch at ampd.energy.